Well, good Saturday morning to all of you. Isn't it a wonderful day? Freezing. Yeah, we're supposed to get some snow. But hey, it's Canada. We're in Quebec. So what do we expect? We're still continuing through our journey through Genesis. What was it? 20, 22, 24? Something like that. 3 chapters. And yeah, what's up with Abraham and Isaac, eh? I don't know about you, but this story has always disturbed me and troubled me because Isaac's the promise. We understand this, and we understand that God's love is such that when we love Him, nothing else can get ahead of that love. That's what we were created for. We were created for that kind of passionate relationship with God, that depth with God, that height with Him, that thing that makes all other relationships pale compared to our relationship with Him. And that doesn't describe most of us. You know, God is more of a hobby for a lot of us than a passion. And we put a lot of stuff ahead of that relationship. A lot of things come before God, and here we have this situation where Abraham is being asked to sacrifice the seed of the promise that was given to him. But more than that, this is his son. This is his son who's been born to him in his old age. This is a blessing, a miracle child. And forget that, this is a human sacrifice. And it has never happened before. And it will never happen after that God would require such a thing. In fact, in later scripture, we find where God absolutely detests, it's deplorable, it's absolutely sickening for Him, human sacrifice. He wiped out entire nations because they were practicing human sacrifice. So, what's up with this? You know, and we know it was a test, but what a test. And there's indications here that Abraham knew. Abraham, we've got to understand, don't give Abraham the credit of knowing what we know. He didn't. He was limited in his understanding. There are people who have examined the Jewish religion, and they say that because of the ongoing revelation, they've concluded that throughout the ages they worship different gods, and it's not the case. It's a growing revelation of who God is, that He's revealing Himself, and He's revealed quite a bit to Abraham, but Abraham still worships Him as a creator. He does not worship Him as Yahweh. It's not that kind of relationship, but yet Abraham is the father of our faith. Not faith as in the father of our religion, but father of our trust, of that relationship that we have with God that is required. We require Abraham faith in order to walk with God. That's what's required of us. And you know, God, it wasn't just a matter of God told him that he was going to be the father of nations and that his family would be a blessing to all nations. It was a situation like this where God is telling him to sacrifice his son. And Abraham, I don't think Abraham had the thought, now this is me projecting here, but I don't think Abraham had the thought that God could resurrect Isaac, that God could replace Isaac, because Abraham loved Isaac. Abraham did not want to bring any harm to his son. Who of us would want to bring any harm to our son? Our skin crawls just at the thought of it. You have to have a mental disease to bring harm to your son. But here is Abraham, and Isaac says, Dad, we've got the wood, we got the fire, but what about the sacrifice? And here, and I've heard it preached since I was a child, that Abraham knew that God would provide the sacrifice. And I really believe he did. I believe that he knew enough about God, that he knew that God would not in the end require him to sacrifice his son, that God would provide. But he took it right to the point of bringing down that knife. He took it right to the brink. He's bringing down the knife before God called out to him and stopped him. And Abraham was trusting him up to that point, and he was bringing down the knife to kill his son. And wow, he really trusted him. He really, really trusted him. How many of us, if God told us to, would take the first step off a cliff, knowing that the only way we'd be able to stop, we get to the point where we could not even stop ourselves. The only way we could stop is if God stopped us, God caught us, God turned us around. There would have to be some miracle. How many of us could trust him to that point? We got so much further to go. Abraham may have had a limited revelation. His theology may not have been spot on, but he had a relationship that I think surpasses what most of us call as a relationship today. It is challenging. It is really challenging to the core. As I examine my relationship with God, do I love him enough to put him ahead of everything else? Do I love him enough to trust him even to the point of losing everything? Wow. That's kind of heavy. Praise the Lord. Let's just dance and sing and shout a little bit here. And because we go forward with joy, right? It's always in joy and peace. So listen, have a joyful day. Have a good rest today. And get ready for tomorrow, because tomorrow's going to be great. God bless.